Afternoon. There's one thing about Kiwis, is that we're good at making beer. Cheers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Irish are great at making stout, Germans are great at making lagers, but for the craft beers with lots of hops and flavour, it's hard to beat a good Kiwi one. Especially after a hard day at work. So, a couple of videos ago, or maybe last video, I made allusions to a blade called a Falo, which a guy called Queensland Survival has got a fantastic video on. In fact, check his out channel. He's got lots of videos on cookeries and some bushcraft stuff. He's got more cookeries than I have, and from a great variety of makers as well. But you know me, I like my Kailash, and last one he was testing out was one which was quite interesting. It was called a Falo. I don't know that other makers make them or sell them or call them that, because I think it means like the black stuff left on your blade once you've forged it. But essentially what it is that if you're a kami or a blacksmith over there, you need a variety of tools. You need a hammer, a chisel, a forge, all that kind of stuff. But also for making the handles on your cookery and things like that, you need a good tough blade to hack out the bone or the wood that you're using to make those blades. And so they make themselves some tools. They're basically a cookery shape blade. It's not a full cookery because it doesn't have a choe. It's basically a blade without a choe. It's mostly unfinished, raw, rough. It's a work tool, and so they don't take the time to make it pretty, to put a hollow grind in it, to put a fuller in it. The handles are pretty much just a piece of wood, the hole burnt in the end and put on and roughly shaped. So they are knives intended purely for work, not for any ceremonial or religious or sort of reason. They're basically purely just workhorses, which is fine. I mean, that's a knife boiled down just to do the job. It comes about in two ways. One, if they're making themselves a knife to use. Two, if they make a mistake in the forging process, and for some reason they decide that they can't fix or sell that blade, it just goes into their arsenal of tools, and they get sharpened, but pretty brutally, and they get used up, and then eventually probably thrown away and another one made. Like I said, the handles aren't super polished, the blades aren't finished. All the niceties that go into a cookery aren't there. And so I was going to get one. I thought, hey, why not have a beer break? Why not have a good, rough, everyday blade? Which, I was thinking about it. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, actually, it's missing the things that I really appreciate in a cookery. That's the hollow forge in the grind, the fuller they put in it, the little bit around the front of the blade that separates the steel from the handle. I can't remember what it's called now, but a little piece they put in. Even the shape of the handle tells a story, and some of them have got carvings and engravings and little aspects about them which make them really attractive. So let me highlight that with this pensioner. So this has got wax on the blade to keep it in good shape. I'm just going to turn the light on because it's getting a little bit dark in here. Evening has come. So this blade here, it's got the actual blade is very slightly hollow ground. It goes down to a convex edge. It's got a fuller running most of the length of the blade. It's got a second fuller up here, which it's just keeping with the historical aspect of this particular blade, which is the pensioner. This one has got the leather stacked handle. It's got the copper bit around here, which separates the stick tang from the leather handle. Traditionally, that handle would be wood or bone, and that kind of hides where disappears into a stick and goes into the handle. It's probably burnt in it traditionally. This is slightly different in that it's leather. The things I like about it is the complete package. I like the hollow grind. I like the fuller. I like how it's put together. And the Falo would miss all of those. It's just so sharp as well. The sheath, the dap, I put up with them essentially. I understand in traditional Nepalese garb, where they kind of wear a sash and things, would be quite useful. I personally find them acceptable. But this shape, to me, is what I find so attractive in the cookery. Now, the Falo has a similar shape, but it's not the fit and finish. They don't have the hollow grind. It's more of a wedge. It doesn't have the fullers. They never bother. They don't need them. They're not selling them. They're just making them as a user tool. And so I decided not to get one. Also decided that I've got the equivalent of that, and that's in this. Now, I made this myself, and it would do for me what the Falo is intended to do for, well, the Kami, but also for anyone who wants to buy one. What this is a machete, pure and simple, designed for hacking. So this particular one is A2. The blade shape is completely different from the cookery, but it's about the same length. See, I've got other cookeries and I like my mutiny even more than I like this, but it's quite a bit longer. So these two I think are comparable. The handle, roughly the same. This one's slightly bigger. This handle's G10, this one's stacked leather. This has got copper accents, this has got G10 blue liners. I mean, it's pretty. This one doesn't have a thong. This one has got I put a hidden thong through in there. This is stain resistant, but you can see it's stained to hell. Sharp. They're roughly the same length. Wait, this is maybe a hair lighter. I haven't got my scales on me at the moment. Sheath on this one, like I said, is the dap. Sheath on this one is handmade, home sewn leather, and I think this sheath is actually, even though it's pretty rough, better. This one, I made a little knife just out of the leftover steel. It's just a little thing because this thing is quite big. So when you're doing stuff, sometimes find a little blade easy. Now you can get some cookeries with the small knife that go with them. I don't think Kailash blades do it, although imagine if you talk to them, they'd probably do one for you, but most of their blades aren't really, the little ones to me don't seem to be that useful. Whereas a pocket knife is. I just made that because this is such a beast and I had a little bit of steel left over, that I just threw it together and made it with that. But yeah, so I'm not going to get a Falo. I've got a beater if I want a beater, which is this. If I want one that's going to be hard used but not hacking into the ground, which I've seen some people do with cookeries, even Nepalese people, they use them for digging and stuff. I'm not going to do that with this. I don't need to. I've got other tools. I'd do that with this. I wouldn't do that with this. I just like this more. This one I made myself, so it's easy to make another one. So yeah, that's why I was thinking about getting the Falo. Decided now not to get the Falo. I'm completely and utterly happy with my cookeries, and my hard use knife is this one here, which is based on a Martindale number 2, but made by me, and it's better steel, better handle material, better sheath. Yeah, hard use knife, which might take damage if I was using it in the wrong area. hard to use knife, which I tried and used in the right area so it wouldn't take damage, but super capable, super beautiful. Only knife, in my opinion, that I've got as a cookery, which is better than this one, which is the Kailash Pensioner, is the Kailash Mutiny. And that's a bigger blade still, which is why I'm not comparing it to the Beta. But that is such a nice blade. Anyway, this is a good beer, and this was a good night. So cheers, guys, and look after yourself. Check out Queensland Survival, because he's got some really great YouTube videos. Cheers, guys.